I was going to miss that smell, miss the way it soothed my senses. I followed it around the corner of the building. His hand shot out of the darkness and yanked me to him. I gasped and put my hands on his chest, shocked at the aggression he was showing, and more than a little turned on by it. "You can't just bite me, you know that." I blurted the words out, shocked at the mix of anger and desire raging in me. The emotions were a heady mix. "Then do it, and let's be done with this," he growled. Be done with this? Be done with me? He wasn't doing this to impress anyone. He was doing it because he wanted me out of his life as fast as he could, and that meant using up my offers of blood as soon as possible. Ernie cleared his throat. "You still got Beth's feather on you? It'll cut through clean." I nodded and put a hand to my purse, pulling out the silver and gold feather. It was from my friend Beth, a Stymphalian bird who died at the hands of Theseus. I kept her feather to remind me of her, and also to remind myself of the power I carried as a Dracana, but also to remind me that I was not invulnerable to being hurt, or even killed. The feather could cut through even my snakeskin, making the innocuous-looking item deadly in the wrong hands. Remo's hands tightened on my waist as I lifted the feather to my neck. "Your wrist will be fine," he snapped. Of course, the wrist was far less intimate than the neck. But if he wanted my blood, he was going to do it my way, which meant being reminded of exactly what it was he was about to give up. With a sharp motion, I made a tiny cut at the base of my neck, on the left-hand side. "Bite me," I said. With a growl, he slammed his mouth against the wound, all traces of the man I knew disappearing under what he really was. A vampire, a mob boss, out for himself and no one else. A spike of pleasure shot from his mouth, down through my chest, and pooled in between my legs. I whimpered even as I clung to him, feeling his muscles bunch and flex under my hands. His mouth slipped from the wound and up my neck, trailing kisses, trailing love bites that made my knees weak. Our lips met, and there was an explosion of hunger in our kiss, our hands seemingly unable to draw one another close enough. This was goodbye. I knew it, and I fought to make it last longer, to make him see that I was good for him. I was good enough. Maybe I wasn't. He bit my lower lip, tugged it toward him, and then let go. I looked up into his eyes to see the same dazed hunger that had nothing to do with the belly and everything to do with the body. "You were a siren. Stop trying to sway me." He pushed me away from him. I clamped a hand over the wound in my neck. I had to get it stitched up right away to close off the wound that could be used against me. That's what I focused on, that physical vulnerability. That's why it hurt so much. It had nothing to do with the pain in my heart, nothing to do with the realization that I'd been used again by a man who professed to care about me. Remo stumbled away from me, and as he stepped into the light in front of the bar, a woman approached him. She had short, spiky blonde hair and huge hooped earrings that brushed the tops of her shoulders. She threw her head back, a perfect invitation to a vampire. He caught her around the waist and picked her up, tossing her over his shoulder to take her with him. I stared in blank, mute silence as I struggled to understand what had just happened. And more than that, why? Why was it always the blondes who stole the men in my life? A small hand touched the top of my shoulder, and I closed my eyes. "Ernie, tell me that didn't just happen." "Sorry, kid," he said softly. "That was not expected. I thought you'd gotten through to him. I thought he saw you for all the amazingness you are." I stood there, my heart hurting far more than it should have over a man I'd known for only a few weeks. But there was something I would not admit to anyone out loud. I'd known Remo would be in my life from the first moment I met him. That he would be pivotal. The connection between us had happened within seconds of meeting. But apparently I was wrong about that.